Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, the second round of Season 2 for the Bahrain Grand Prix here. And this is going to be an interesting one. We had a very lucky result last time out. I doubt we will have the same fortune this time. We may be in for a much tougher time. But here is the R&D chart as things stand. We're just below the top of the midfield in reality. In terms of our actual team positioning, from first to last, we're near the bottom, but the midfield is so tight that given that we've got a very good engine and chassis, it's the area that's really lacking. There will be certain tracks where we can really shine. Our chassis is fourth best, and I think our engine is among the top as well, fourth best, there as well, but our aero is second worst. So yeah, we've got a lot of work to do on that side of things. As you can see, we are having a look through upgrades now. We're going to go with a DRS upgrade or a drag upgrade. I'm debating between the two of those, but I'm going to go for drag because it's basically DRS but everywhere. That was my logic on that one. So anyway, we move on to the end of qualifying 1, and we do just about get through down in 14th position. But Daniil Ricciardo, the race winner last time out at the Australian Grand Prix, not knocked out, but sorry, down a long way there as well. So very interesting times here for the two of us, and Romain Grosjean all the way down in 20th position. So he really struggled today. That's very unfortunate. But we move on then to Q2, and this is the probably the most important session for us. Because if we can get through to Q3, that is great news for this weekend, but it's going to be tough. We just don't seem to have the pace here. I thought we would actually, around this kind of circuit, there's a few aero-dependent corners through this section. You can see we're struggling a little bit, but there's a lot of really tight stuff where our good chassis should be able to help us, and some long straights as well, where our power unit will be pushing us along quite nicely. So a big mistake there. That's going to cost us a bunch of time on this lap. We actually had to take 2 laps in the first session, so this is our one and only flyer in the second session to explain that. But as we round the last couple of corners now into the final sector, this lap just isn't quite coming together for us, unfortunately, and that might be very costly for us as we head towards the finish line. Where will we qualify for the Bahrain Grand Prix? P15, a long way down from where we were in 10th position back in Australia in qualifying there. And Daniil Ricciardo was knocked out as well, down in 14th, so the Red Bull's really struggling because Albon isn't even on that screen, so he must be down in 16th position. So disaster for Red Bull. They don't have pace here at all. And Matsushita up in 5th position. That's a great effort from him. That is great to see him up to speed in that racing point, and he will be over the moon with that, I am sure. But let's get into the race.
The stage is set for another enthralling race here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. A Ferrari stronghold in years gone by, but will they be able to add to their record today? We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Can I get your take on Ferrari? We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Verstappen, Gasly, Matsushita, KVYAT, and George Russell, Joe, Perez, Esteban Ocon, and Ricciardo, the scientist, Albon, Kevin Magnussen, and Nick de Vries, Stroll, Grosjean, Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Alright, we will certainly try to do that. Strategy is going to be a 2-stop softs to 2 sets of mediums, and that will get us through to the end of the race. Some other drivers might be doing 3 stops, so that could be a strategical advantage for us if they do so. But other than that, there's not really a lot to cover, so let's just get straight into it as we go to the 5 red lights. And away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Wheel spin up there for Esteban Ocon. We got a good start versus him. Ricciardo too, but he didn't have anywhere to go with it, as we have a big window around the outside. Guan Yu Zhou looking around for some moves as we go to the outside off circuit there to avoid the cars all stacking up into the first corner. We managed to snatch P9 there, so it's 6 positions gained off this grid in our qualifying position until we get through the first 3 corners. So that is a great start for us, and now we can look at the back of our old teammate Nobuharu Matsushita. We might be able to make a move on him. He was involved in that first corner little scuffle there, so he might have damage. There's actually a number of cars with slight amounts of damage from all the contact made down into the first corner, and we were lucky not to be one of them. We had to take that avoiding action off circuit to avoid that incident that was happening there. But underway for the second half, we're in the slipstream of Matsushita, and we'll see if we can make a move as we now head along towards the end of the straight. Maybe we can go to the outside here, around the outside of Matsushita, but he's so late on the brakes there. Great defense there from our old teammate now in the racing point, and he holds on to the position. We've got to watch out for our other old teammate behind us, Guan Yu Zhou, also in the racing point. Now we go up the inside of Matsushita, squeezing through, and we do just about make that move on the Japanese driver. Next up is the Frenchman Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri, so let's see if we can chase him down along this back straight. Got the DRS open as we sit in the slipstream of the AlphaTauri. We got a good run here. We might actually be able to make a move up the inside here, and we do make the move into turn 11, sweeping through and taking that position. Now we're right behind Max Verstappen, who we followed through the first races. We get on the curb and a big slide on the exit there, and that's going to spin us thankfully not into the wall, but losing a ton of time in the positions there. We've got the 2 Renaults going past there, and the 2 racing points as well. We're down to 11th position once again in this race, and yeah, just got on the curb. Gasly having to take avoiding action there, and yeah, we lose 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. Gasly losing even more, and as he was off on the outside where he would have to rejoin on the racing line if he wanted to here. So yeah, he had to wait for the entire field to pass before he could get back onto the track. Really unfortunate for him that he just had to sit and wait there. We were on the inside so we could get up to speed offline before rejoining the circuit. But we continue on and make the move around the outside of Daniil KVYAT in the Renault, and we should be able to make this work around the outside of turn 1 to the inside of turn 2, and we got that covered off, made the move on Daniil KVYAT. Next up is the other Renault of Esteban Ocon. So as we continue on, we do catch up to him as the 2 racing points battle away. Matsushita with a little bit of damage from the little bit of contact at the first corner, and Guan Yu Zhou just has a slight edge on pace as they battle away side by side. We go up the inside of Ocon and almost into the side of Matsushita. We thankfully avoid contact with him as he still battles away side by side with Guan Yu Zhou as they head through the middle sector. Zhou just about gets ahead of his teammate, and the Chinese driver now leads the way for a racing point. Let's see if we can make a move on Matsushita sometime soon. So as we continue on, we're going to have a look up the inside. No, weaving around all over the place, trying to make a move around the outside into turn 11. This is a really awkward place to try and make an overtake, and we get a wash of understeer, and we just can't hold it around the outside. So we move on to the main straight, a much more conventional place to make an overtaking move. But remember, he was really late on the brakes here as we try again, and a bit of a lock up there. I think that was Zhou locking up, but yeah, again, Matsushita really late on the brakes there, so that racing point really strong going into the corners, and we just can't make the move even though we have a slight pace advantage. But up the inside into turn 4. He leaves us the room on the inside, just about there, getting very close on the front left. So he now runs side by side through the middle sector. This battle is really escalating rather quickly between the two of us. A lot of respect given though, and not making contact. And we do eventually make that move on Matsushita and move ourselves up and back into 8th position. Next up is Guan Yu Zhou.
You'll be on the mediums.
But I was actually sitting in the DRS for a little while of him, but we'll see if we can make a move at some point soon. But he seems pretty quick actually at this stage of the race. You can see that is Max Verstappen up there, not too far ahead. So Zhou having a bit of pace at the moment, but Daniil Ricciardo, unfortunately for him, retires from the second round of the season. That is very, very unfortunate for Daniil Ricciardo there, and he will not finish this race after winning the first. So the championship fight is going to get blown wide open. It is only the second round of the season, of course, but every point is going to count as it did the last season. But anyway, we go in for our pit stop, new tyres on, and away we go once again.
Today, one stop left in our strategy.
And we will see where we re-emerge once everyone has made their stops. We're currently down in 12th position, just behind Max Verstappen, so we still should have some decent track position, but we actually got some really good pace at the moment, so we're going to make a move on Verstappen up the inside into the final 2 corners, and we've made that overtake on Verstappen. Anthony Davidson was saying that the Ferraris were struggling for pace this weekend with some after the regulation change, and it really does seem like they're struggling because we just have a lot of pace versus these 2 Ferraris. So maybe we could take the fight to them this weekend. Perhaps they just have the engines turned down at the moment. That's also a possibility, but we have a look around the outside of Charles Leclerc, wheel to wheel through turn 4, and Leclerc's just about going to hold on, but we keep the nose in on the outside as we head through the middle sector, now getting very close, and we shove the nose into the next left-hander into turn 7, and we will just squeeze through there and get ahead of Charles Leclerc. That was a nice move, but too deep into turn 8, and Leclerc's on the inside. No, he can't get alongside, and we will maintain that position. But as we continue on then, running a little bit deep into the first corner, as Leclerc is putting the pressure on in the DRS, we're going to have a compromised exit onto the second straight, and Leclerc is going to go to the outside. We immediately cover off the inside. Leclerc charging in a straight line there, very, very quick in that Ferrari, but we will hold him off on the inside line there, and he will now have to worry about his teammate Max Verstappen. We need to get away from these guys because they're the fighting is holding us up. Mistake there though, and Leclerc is going to have the inside line here. We're going to dive back up the inside though into turn 8, and we will just about hold on to the position, leaving him plenty of space there on the left. But yeah, we just about hold on to that, running a little bit deep here, but we do just about get the nose turned in just about there, and we hold them off. But we need to get away.
So you know, we're getting some strange readings from a couple of the sensors. I don't think you need to be worried. It's just some bad data, so keep doing what you're doing, and I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems.
Okay, some dodgy data there, but well, we generally don't need to worry about that when it happens, but always a worry when you get the messages like that. But as we continue, another mistake through the first corner, trying to make a better line through turn 2. It didn't really work for us, but we did manage to hold off Leclerc on that occasion. But you can just see a lot of mistakes at this point in the race. It's just I'm not comfortable in this car as compared to the AlphaTauri that I have been driving, and it's just costing a lot of time with a lot of mistakes. And as you can see there, Leclerc getting through. But as we continue on, we may not need to worry about them too much. The strategy might help us if we go for an undercut, but we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, mistake there again, and Max Verstappen gets through, just trying to defend, running too deep, and yeah, it's just going horribly wrong. Another mistake there, and that's going to let Sergio Perez through in the AlphaTauri. You could see briefly behind us before, there was a whole train of cars stacking up behind us, and yeah, it's not going particularly well at this stage of the race as we try and battle away around the outside of Sergio, but it doesn't work out for us, and we have to slot in behind. We continue on, go for a massive dive up the inside though into turn 1, and that is the confidence that we need if we want to find our way back through this pack of cars, and we get a bit of DRS here. That's going to help us pull away and close up to the 2 Ferraris ahead of us. But as we do that, we go up the inside of Max Verstappen into turn 4, and we make that move stick on the Dutchman on lap 33. But on the very next lap, lap 34, he's coming back at us down the inside into turn 4, and we can't quite fight back. He covers that off really well there, and he maintains that position. But as we continue on then, sitting in the slipstream, we'll have the DRS. Verstappen doesn't have DRS from Leclerc, who's cleared off a little bit here, as we go streaming past him in a straight line and retaking that position. But eventually it comes time to come in for our pit stop, and we will get a new set of tyres onto the car, another set of mediums that will take us to the end.
Strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
So we head out of pit lane, and there goes Charles Leclerc, who made the undercut, as I kind of mentioned earlier. Matsushita still ahead of us, yet to make a stop, and Grosjean is actually behind us at the moment. So despite starting down the order, he's still in a decent position at the moment, but unfortunately he has another stop to make. So as things stand right now, Valtteri Bottas leads the way from Carlos Sainz leads the way from Valtteri Bottas, with Lando Norris in third, Charles Leclerc, myself, and then Romain Grosjean, who has another stop to make. So yeah, unfortunate for Grosjean. If he was on our strategy, he could legitimately be somewhere around that position. That's really unfortunate that he has another stop to make. But that's the way it goes, unfortunately. He chose the 3-stop, but yeah, that's going to put him well down the order. But as we continue on, we go up the inside and make the move on Charles Leclerc. So it does seem like we have the legitimate pace over the Ferraris. And as I was saying, despite the fact Grosjean has another pit stop to make, to see him running that high up the field at this stage of the race, regardless of pit stops, is a great sign for our pace. And continuing on with our pace, we go up the inside from a long way back on Lando Norris, but we can't quite get a stop. Norris gets a switch back round the outside of turn 2, pinches us in really well there, and we just couldn't carry any apex speed, and Norris held on to the position. But we're going to continue this fight up the inside, but again way too deep into turn 4. We only just make the corner. Norris gets an easy switch back there, and he will continue on his way. But as we continue on then, a yellow flag up ahead, and that could be either Sainz or Bottas. It's Bottas, the Mercedes driver, a mechanical issue, driving very slowly along the main straight, and that's going to drop him from second position. He was pressurizing Carlos Sainz, probably going to make a move for the lead very, very soon, given the pace of that Mercedes. But yeah, that is a disaster for him, and for us, as we have a little look to the outside of Lando Norris. Not going to make the move there. Yeah, that is a disaster for Bottas in the Mercedes. This could have been a huge chunk of points, as Hamilton has really fallen away in this race. I'm not sure what's happened to him, honestly. But yeah, and Ricciardo out of the race as well with a mechanical issue. He could have scored big, but it's not gone his way. As we go around the outside of Lando Norris through the first corner, try and get the inside line and do it properly, but again Norris pinches us in well there, and we just can't carry the apex speed. But we did it better than before, and we do get a run along towards turn 4, and up the inside we go and make the move on Lando Norris, and we take second place and ruin the McLaren 1-2 that we briefly had in this race. Daniil KVYAT in the Renault also suffers from a mechanical failure in this race, parks it up out of the way. That's not going to cause any kind of issues for us in regards to safety cars or alike. So as we continue on then, Norris still fighting with us and still going for moves, and he's getting seems to be getting faster and faster as we go on. I don't think we have the ultimate pace over Lando Norris anymore, so we just need to defend for our lives and hope that we can bring home this P2 and match the result we got back in Melbourne. So as we make another mistake though through the last sector, and that's going to cost us a bunch of time, and now Norris is right on the back of us again. We actually did break away briefly there as we have a look around the outside. Inside goes Lando Norris, and he makes the move as we head along the main straight. He gets a DRS as well. That's going to make it difficult to fight back. It's the last lap of the race now, as Norris is going to defend all the way to the inside here as we stay on the outside line later on the brakes than the Brit. We'll see if we can get a switch back, but he parks it on the apex, blocks that opportunity for us, and drives through turn 2 very nicely there, and we just can't get a nice enough exit. So Norris placing his car brilliantly there and we just can't get close enough. We have a big look up the inside, bit of contact made there with the front left tyre on his rear right, but no damage for us thankfully, and we can continue this fight. So as we head on towards the last sector, we are really running out of time here. There's only really one opportunity left, and that is into the final two corners. So we need to get a great launch here, trying to take a slightly later apex to get the launch, but we're too far behind Lando Norris. The dirty air just not helping us there, and we're really getting good slipstream here, but we just couldn't get close enough. Taking a lot of curve there through the final corner, but it's not going to be enough. Carlos Sainz has won the Bahrain Grand Prix. Lando Norris makes it a McLaren 1-2, and we're going to cross the line for third.
Nice work, you did well today. I think the boss will be happy with that one.
We really could have got second there, but honestly, I can't complain. That is a fantastic result for us. McLaren 1-2 though, what a race for them.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for McLaren today. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure, and no doubt they'll be celebrating tonight.
Unbelievable stuff for the McLaren team. A 1-2 finish here in Bahrain. What a race for them. And they will be absolutely loving that moment up on the podium together, Lando and Carlos. Great driving from them.
Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. And with his performance today, Carlos Sainz assumes the top spot in the championship standings. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the scientist. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. McLaren supplant the previous leaders, taking control of the championship. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, what a race that we just witnessed. 1-2 for McLaren. I can hardly believe it. I don't know what happened to Lewis Hamilton in this race. He started at the front and then he just really didn't really show up in this race. Maybe he got some damage at some point, I'm not sure. But yeah, Bottas was the one leading the charge for the Mercedes team, and unfortunately he retired with a mechanical failure. So yeah, unfortunate for him. And Mercedes really struggling in the constructors so far this year, with Bottas down the order in Melbourne after they tried to get him through to Q3 on the mediums, which is not really viable. The field spread is so tight that's just not going to happen. And yeah, it just hasn't gone their way again for Mercedes. So reliability a huge issue, and just a bit of poor strategy and decision making costing them so much. And Matsushita, I need to also mention, he managed to bring back 10th position for Racing Point, as well as the fastest lap of the race. So that is huge for them. 2 points in the bank, and that is a great effort from him to bring home the fastest lap point. I was very shocked to see that on the timing boards there. Faster than Lewis Hamilton, who was on the same strategy, the 3 stops. So there you go. Matsushita in that Racing Point will certainly be one to watch throughout this season. So really looking forward to seeing what he can do later on. That must have been some kind of lap in that car to get that fastest lap. But anyway, other than that though, as for our race, a lot of little mistakes that cost us, but in the end I can't really complain about another podium. And we're in second in the championship to Carlos Sainz. So the fact that we've got these big points early, if we can improve the car, or even if McLaren can improve their car, we could have a very interesting title fight with a lot of different drivers from a lot of different teams all involved. With Sainz, Norris, Ricciardo, and the Mercedes boys will obviously be trying to fight back. This is going to be a mega season, so I'm really looking forward to it. But let's get into the interviews.
The
fans really seem to enjoy that. Made it look easy. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Strategy? Well, we made a lot of moves at the first corner when they all collided.
You must be happy with the result today.
Yeah, it is amazing to get another podium, honestly. That is not what I expected.
You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
Just staying out of trouble and making the moves when we can. We had a good strategy today. Got a little bit lucky and got the result.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Thank you, Claire. So there we have it. We once again beat Guanyu in the rivalry, and we moved that tally to 13 versus 7. So yeah, it's not going so well for Guanyu, unfortunately for him. But anyway, he actually out-qualified us, didn't he? So that is something. But anyway, we move our team acclaim to level 16, so that's good for us. Another $1.3 million in the bank for our team, and that is a little bit of damage on the car, but not too concerned about that. Didn't cost us too much.
Our margins are looking good right now. I think we've got room for some more investment.
Our margins are looking good. Okie dokie, Carl. Whatever you say. But anyway, onto the HQ and R&D aspects of the video. Now, we will do, before our invitational event we've got coming up, we'll do the chassis equipment upgrade, and then after we will do the supplier HQ tour and GeForce training, get Grosjean specs up as high as we can. We got some money now to invest into our facilities. We're going to go with personnel and increase experience, and that will help us get more resource points from Romain Grosjean in the practice sessions. So that is what we are going to do. Carl is recommending we fix that durability upgrade. I think that's the one we lost during the R&D reset, so we do that and continue on to the fast forwarding time. And now yeah, that was an upgrade that failed, but yeah, we move on to the invitational event, and we just have to overtake a bunch of cars. That was really easy, and we were able to pass that and get a bunch of money and acclaim rolling in for that too. So that is fantastic for us. A little, well, not a lot of money, but the acclaim will never be a bad thing to have in our pocket, and that will bring us you know, that little bit closer each time to a higher team acclaim and that final sponsor. But anyway, we also continue to fast forward through the time and get a bunch of those R&D and facility upgrades going onto the car. But now we have more R&D points to spend, so we're going to go with either power or aerodynamics. We've already done an aero upgrade earlier on in this episode, that drag one there, that's in progress at the bottom. So we're going to go with power, I think, and keep that engine power rolling in, and that I really feel like engine power is the key in this game sometimes. So we're going to keep those upgrades coming and improve on that. But yeah, other than that, there is not too much else left to cover. So I will say thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.